So, this is part 3 of this little series, which is called Wednesday Holds Threats of Eternity in its Palms, but I won't rest just yet. This is 2 parts to the Wednesday, so part 1 of Wednesday and part 3 of the series. And it goes like this. I feel a tug, but before I could think again, my heart is ripped from its chest by its own volition. Concern is prevalent in my mind, and I laugh. I'm still walking, but how? It makes about as much sense as the floating boat above me. And I look up and I realize that the boat has been replaced, and my heart is stretching out to the horizon as a thin wire of blood connects me to it. Then it swells up into a balloon, much like a hot air balloon, and I find myself floating with it. Let me tell you, it hurts, and I've never experienced something like this before. Apart from riding a longboard down a steep hill, that freedom to think that you're still standing, as you're going down, it's almost like you're flying. It's bewildering, and it's worth repeating. This isn't, though, and I shake my head to agree with myself. This is just wrong. My already swollen heart swells again and drags me up higher into the air. I grit my teeth as I feel myself being dragged through the sky, much like I was being dragged through the sea. The sky is like glass, just as well. If this is the extent of my strength, if my body is rejecting me enough to forfeit organs, I can only question how much further I can go. I don't know how I could have planned for this. I couldn't. And I grab hold of the tether, pulling me through the air, and I began pulling myself closer to its source. I want to understand this rebellious heart of mine. In desperation, it becomes my rationality. It replaces it fully. I spend what feels like hours, but what could have also been just a couple seconds, forcing myself forward. I don't think that this new entity likes me anymore, though, because the closer I get, the further it seems to get from me. And I get close enough, eventually, to whisper my woes into this swollen existence, but it continues to reject me. In fact, it flees from me. As it travels faster, I feel the tether snapping and a hole growing where my heart should be. This hole, it grows and it's big. And I check my chest to see that black hole in its place. It looks gaunt and hungry, enough to swallow anything but its former owner. Even more so after the tether snaps and the balloon floats away. And I can only feel my body continue to follow my heart for a few moments before I watch the sun warp into the sea. The sea parts its way to allow the balloon access to some unknown dimension. I stop following and drop into the parted seas. I fall without understanding where I will go. Have I been swallowed by these waters? Did I fail already? Am I dead? Maybe this whole process has been me being dead all along. It's never been easy to understand whether I am dreaming or awake. How am I supposed to guess? I might become just like that man trapped in the broken time, but actually stuck there. And I don't want that conceptual hell for myself. I don't want this for myself. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. And it's not encouraging me. As I continue to fall, these words, this repetition, it's not encouraging at all. Even if I am falling slowly, I'm not drowning either. I feel that hole in my chest. In fact, I feel a hole all the way through to the back of my body. It's weird. I feel as if this is a freedom that doesn't belong. It's subhuman. Something I wasn't designed to be. How does one come to accept something like this? How can one live without a heart? Does this mean I have to be apathetic now? Do I have to adopt the metaphor of having no heart? Must I be like the ever-flowing time that cares not for human concern? Do I adopt the subhuman qualities somehow? What are those anyway? And I leave these conjectures locked deep inside my mind because the depression finally drills its way into the core of my brain. The confidence I had must be sleeping outside of the crack that the sea made. It stayed on top while I fell through. And I may never get to where I'm going. I may never know what the ground feels like or lavish in light. I close my eyes and drift, like a feather, like ether, eternal and frail. I pull myself into a ball as I fall, and I wait. Minutes, hours, days, months. Time becomes as mythical as hope. All I keep repeating now to myself is, where are you, God? I need help.